The youngest daughter, her Honda.
Mm. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Gracie. Good morning, Maggie. Okay. It's a beautiful 8:01. It's time for some fun. What are your wins, your celebrations, something you're just dang proud of?
We're on fire out here.
Okay. I mean, do you need a fire extinguisher or is this something we just put some gas on?
Gas? I submitted 4 contracts last night.
Four different offers or one
Four
buyer,
different
four different
offers.
houses?
4 houses, 4 different buyers, 4 different contracts.
There you go. There you go. You're going to be out of coaching in no time. You're just going to leave us behind and never come back. He, he freezed. He freezed did. Good morning, Serena. Who haven't I said good morning to yet? Good morning, Liz. Good morning,
Pros.
Mara. Good morning, Mags. Good morning,
Oh, there you
Jess.
go.
All right. 8:02. Let's hear from you. Other win celebrations, something we're just dang proud of. Mikey has the most pretty puppy. The most pretty.
Got a new listing.
There you go, Gracie. Great job. 13.6 million
No, I wish. This one's like 1.3.
only. Only. My Sierra Vista
Yeah, I
people,
guess that would be a lot in Arizona, huh?
not just in Arizona, in South Tucson or also Sierra Vista. You're like, houses start with 1 million? That's crazy. I'm pretty sure for 1.3 million, you can buy half of Sierra Vista. At least the gas stations.
At least 4 houses.
At least. Other wins, celebrations. What else you got? Today's Wednesday, right?
Yep.
So it should be
It's winning Wednesday.
winning with whining. You guys don't know how
No
much
one.
whining is Michael's last name. Michael Whining. Not whining as in like boo-hoo, but winning with whining because it's Michael Whining. I guess I've never associated whining with that word whining before. I don't know why I never have. Because it doesn't exist. You can't get whining out of whining. He's a man of action. He's a determinate male.
You can do whining and dining.
Whining and dining. Hey, you know what? When you
Here's
start
the other wine.
start a food blog, there we go. Whining with dining. All right, objections. We all have them. We all need to deal with them. How do we handle them? I had a listing appointment yesterday out in Green Valley. And I'm sitting there having a good conversation with the sellers, going through the normal kitchen table conversations. And the wife looks over and she goes, I feel really comfortable with you. Good. And in that moment, I'm like, I have to share this with the group. I have to share the importance of making people feel comfortable working with you. When people are comfortable working with you, do you have to deal with as many objections?
No.
No. You don't get objections, you get people asking you for your advice. What would you do? I love that question. What would you do?
You're the professional.
Right? I think that's more of a piss off anything. You're the professional. You should know. All
No,
right.
no, no. I get a lot of that. You're like, well, you're the professional. What should we do? Or,
Yeah.
what should we price it at or whatever?
When you when you get that, it's also the same thing. They're looking for leadership. I think that's the key tone for the underlying solution is people are looking for leadership. Are you leading clients? That's important. How do you show up? Are you showing up in a way that makes them feel nervous? Are you speaking in patterns that make people already align with doing business with you? Right. I can pull up the notes because you guys know I record everything. So I don't know if it's updated in my system yet, but it was on my Plot. If you guys don't know what Plot is, it's the thing on the back of my phone. It's a fantastic little pocket recorder AI thingy. And if you don't have one, you need to get one, especially if you're doing things like real estate, because it really does help you, take track of what you're doing and talking to people. But when you're able to create an environment of comfort, you don't have objections nearly as much as you have opportunities. But the entire conversation, it was when we sell your house, when you list with us. Oh, don't worry, we'll take care of that. Or after you close, we'll do this. I have created a foundation that they can walk in, right? I'm leading them through where we're going. What words did I not use? If, right? If you choose us. No, I want to set this precedence up with a little bit of colorful language, if you will. Presumptive closings. When you hire us, when we sell your house. She goes, well, tell me, she asked me, she goes, when a buyer wants to come look at the house, how does that work? Also, when you hire us, and the agents that are going to reach out to us, right, kept going back to us and us and us, not just, well, this is how it works in generalities. I wanted everything to be pinged back to us. Even to the point where the guy walked me outside, and on the front of his house has this giant copper sign with his last name on it. You guys have always seen those, like the things at the fair where they put your last name on it in a decoration, big piece of metal. Well, it's hanging up on the front of his garage. And we're talking about it. I'm like, dude, this is beautiful. It's a good looking piece. Right. He goes, yeah, once we sell it, I gotta find a 14-foot extension ladder to get that down. I was like, oh, don't worry, I'll help you get it down when we sell it. I'll bring my big truck that day with a 6-foot ladder. Hell, I might even just back my truck up and stand in the bed of the truck and get it. And he laughed and he goes, okay, sounds good. Again, creating more of that. I'm going to be here when you sell. So when they sit down to talk, because they've interviewed 4 agents, they said, we're going to interview 4 agents. Number 4 is tomorrow. And I said, okay. When you guys make your decision, I'll be here and we can start right away. And the wife she leaned over. She just gave me a big old hug afterwards. She goes, thank you. I feel really comfortable with you. You're really knowledgeable. And I told her, I was like, I would expect a smart client like you to hire somebody that's got their best interest and knows what they're doing. I'll be hearing from you very soon. Again, setting precedents. We can create opportunities or objections with how we talk to clients. Do you agree?
Wholeheartedly.
Full-heartedly. If you're coming from a place of confidence, calm, collected confidence, you will actually create more opportunities than objections. If you don't believe me, if you were going to hike a mountain, would you hire a mountain guide that's never been up the mountain and was nervous about heights? Or are you going to hire some guy that shows up in flip-flops, has a cup of coffee, says, this is my 1,000th trip up the hill? All right? Instantly in those moments, you're like the expertise, like Mikey said, you're the professional. You are showing up in that space, giving them the confidence that you are going to guide them, lead them to the path that they want to be on. But what says they give you an objection? They throw out something that's just, they're like, well, what about your fees? And what about them? How many of us have a canned response we're ready to rock and roll with? A script just in our pocket we can just pull out and fire from the hip.
Yep.
Right? How many times do you actually use it? versus just ask a question. What do you mean by that? Well, tell me more. What's important about that?
Got several agents that I've coached that are like, oh, it's so easy for you to flow like that. I'm like, it's because I've practiced it hundreds of thousands of times.
Yeah. So Paco's not on the call this morning, but I stopped by an open house on Sunday. Driving by, I'm going to my dad's house. I have an extra hour and a half between showing, so I'm in my dad's neighborhood. I'm like, hey, you know what? Might be a good idea to swing by and see Pops, make sure he's doing okay. And as I'm driving through the main entrance of his neighborhood, I see my green open house signs. Mikey made us some lime green. They look like poster board Kawasaki green, I think the color is. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you can see him from a mile away. I'm all, hey, there's my signs. I'm like, I didn't know anyone had the green signs. So first, I'm investigating why my green signs are out here and which one of these PC agents have them. If not a PC agent, I'm fighting somebody in an open house. But I noticed the sign placement and I go in there and I just pop in, open the door, and he goes, oh, hello, Dan. And so 15-second interaction. And the last coaching call him and I had was about scripting and practicing his scripting so that when he's doing open houses, he's got a better relationship. He tells me, Dan, thank you again for helping with the scripting. He goes, I can feel more present in the conversation because I'm not worried about what I need to say next. And I told him, that's amazing, Paco. That's why we script. That's why we have conversations to get us ready to ask questions, to get more information, and not just have canned responses. I was like, good luck, buddy. Keep killing it and turn that light on. It's too dark in here. And then I walked out. When you're getting objections, when you're having interactions, when you're creating rapport, you ruin it by waiting for your time to talk. You know what I'm talking about? Anyone ever had that where you're just so excited to say something, you just blurt out words and you're not actively listening? I used to hate that in school. All right, let's put our active listening ears on. Shut up, Mrs. Wilson. My ears are always actively listening. Some of you had Mrs. Wilson as a teacher. I can see. Dan, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. We're supposed to listen twice as much as we talk. No, we're not, ma'am. This is the lady that said I'd never make money talking. Joke's on you, Mrs. W. Now, here's the thing. One thing I could have learned better is to stop and listen. Talking's good, but stop and listen. Ask a question and then do what?
Listen.
Shut up and listen.
Sounds like a Vanilla Ice song.
Stop. Shut up and listen. Dan is back with a new invention.
Well, you got to collaborate and listen.
But it doesn't work for one. I'm trying to say that.
It
Half
works
the
in,
crash is
it
like,
works in
"Oop."
negotiations too.
It does work in negotiation. Silence is power. So back to objections, right? What objections are we working on? No matter what it is, you ask, what do you mean by that? What's important about that? Tell me more. Help me understand what information you're looking for. You know what the most dangerous objection of all is? Anyone guess?
Oh no.
The one that
The one
hasn't
that's not expressed.
exactly. The one that's not expressed, the one that hasn't been vocalized, the one you haven't heard.
Because it'll stick all the way through the transaction.
Yeah. Now, why do we think that there's objections out there that we haven't heard? A buyer or a seller hasn't told you this objection.
We haven't been out there long enough.
Okay, there's one. Because we haven't been out there long enough.
You haven't gotten to the root of it.
Haven't got. Okay, we're going to pin that one. Haven't gotten to the root of it. We'll get back to that. Well, what else? Maybe it's you haven't created an environment safe enough for the client to express it. On the surface, during first interactions, do you believe our clients feel like we have their best interests in heart? Or do you
Definitely
think that they're thinking, oh, they're out for their own paycheck?
100%. That was my buyer consultation last night. I explained to them that the last purchase that Steve and I did, we were trying to not talk the client out of purchasing that home, but tell them the reasons why it wasn't a good value. They proceeded anyhow. We obviously can't control what they do, but we did our part in presenting the facts of why it was not a good value, why it wasn't a good purchase, because we honestly felt there was better homes out there that suited their needs. But at the end of the day, it's our decision.
Yeah. Because at first, buyers don't realize that you're there to protect them. Some buyers are naive and they'll come out and say, yeah, well, yeah, they're fantastic. And others will be like, well, they just want to sell a house. They don't care about me. Now, especially if you have a buyer that's got mom and dad involved. When mom and dad are involved and the kids are buying, mom and dad instantly think you are just a sleazy scumbag salesperson. So do you think you're going to get all the truth, all the facts, all the objections out front? No, God, no. You're going to get a lot of posturing and smoke. So when we haven't created an environment where they feel like they can give us a true objection or something they're really feeling without being sold, you're going to have a lot of unsaid objections. So what are some ways that we can unroot some of these things that we don't know about? This is the participatory part of this call.
Show up with the friendly smile and have a friendly attitude.
That's a big part of it. Huge part of it, right? You can't be a grumpicus and get good responses, right? Approach situations like you want the situation to be.
Mhm.
Like,
For me, asking them where they'd like to begin. I mean, you can't ask the questions if you don't know what you're asking, right? So asking them, is there any particular objections up front, any concerns you have right off the bat, starting with that, and then, going through the overview for the process for buyers or sellers, whichever way. But at least starting that point and putting everything on the table and letting them know that that we're a team in order to get them to the goals that they want to reach.
yeah, that's a big one. Where do you want to start? One of the things I like to showcase is respect people's research. Don't assume they know nothing, and don't assume they know everything. Mikey is on the nail there. Where would you like to start?
Because so in my call last night, I asked him, I said, is there anything in particular that you guys have a question about or anything? And it was blank. And so I was, I just want to make sure so there's not really an issue about it, if you don't, but I want to address everything up front if you have any specific concerns, and then we went into the process of buying.
Good. Another question is at the end or the midway point. It could be the end. It could be the midway point. And why do I say this? What do you need more clarity on?
Any objections, right?
No, we're not at a wedding, Audra. Speak now, forever hold your peace. All right. You want to ask questions that are non-critical. Right? What do you need more clarity on? What lingering questions have popped up since we started talking?
I usually also during that time say, we do this every day, so a lot of times it's easy for me to take for granted that I'm moving along, and you guys might not be familiar with the process. So is there anything that I can help you understand a little bit more?
I mean, that's a fantastic way of starting it. Guys, do we not do this? Even if you've never done this before, you're exposed to more real estate just on this call than you are most buyers and sellers doing a process. because we talk about it at high level. And Mikey's kind of got some game on him today. Hey, you know what? I might get jaded to the process. I've done this a bunch of times. So if there's something I haven't talked about that's really important to you, let me know and we'll deep dive in it.
And
Did I?
the
Right.
moment that I realized that, I was working with a listing, and the sellers, they had purchased a year prior. And so I'll try to keep it quick. They purchased a year prior. And so I basically said, well, so you guys are familiar with the inspection process? And they said, yes. By me not taking the time to walk through it, I found out during the inspection, while they were freaking out that it wasn't taking 45 minutes. Why is it not taking 45 minutes? Why have they been there for 3 hours? I found out that their agent didn't properly do an inspection or recommend an inspection for them. And so they did not understand the process. So that was my problem of assuming that they're familiar with it. They just went through it a year ago. Well, unfortunately, they weren't guided properly.
Our jobs are to add perspective and to guide and lead. I'm trying to find the exact line here. So I opened up the conversation. We did the tour around the house yesterday. And then we sat down and said, okay, let's have a seat and have a chat. And these are advanced individuals. I don't want to call them seniors because they didn't graduate high school, but they're definitely advanced. They're executive level age, if you will. So I sit down, out of my mouth, I was like, I know you guys are interviewing other agents and every one of them has their own spiel. I want to know what's the most important thing to talk about and what you need deeper understanding on. Because I know you guys have bought and sold houses before. So we don't need to talk about the process or the expectations. Or no, we don't need to talk about the process. And you would expect every broker that you're meeting with to market and have great customer service and know what they're doing. What's important to me is to know what deeper understanding you need and to understand what you're looking for. And then that kind of started the relationship conversation, right? And then all we do is we believe in partnership type of environment where we want to make sure that your needs are serviced above and beyond all other means, right? Getting that objection out of the way. You're just looking to sell a house. No, I'm looking to help you out. So
Hello?
yep, you're here.
Oh.
You're here. Going through it all, but I really want to have just pin that home as creating the starting point of where do you want to start? What information do you already have? Let's talk about what research you've done, right? And create the conversations and then ask more questions. What more about that? What more about that? Tell me more. Help me understand that. What made you think that? What made you look there? All these things help gain clarity. And then at the end, you ask, okay, what did we not talk about that is important for us to talk about before you make a decision? What did I briefly discuss that you needed more information on? Notice how this opens up a pathway for them to feel comfortable. Oh, you know what? We didn't talk about your fee. Okay. Well, what do you want to talk about? I'm not going to jump into my objection handling around the 6%. Okay. What do you want to talk about? I figured it's pretty nominal, just like everyone else. Yeah. I mean, what were you expecting? Let's say this. Let's say you are ready to do 5% total on a listing, and you have that in your head. They're like, let's talk about your fee. You're like, I'll do 5%. Whoa. Calm down there, big shoots. What if you say, hey, let's talk about what is your cost? And so it's cost as far as, again, get some clarity. You mean your taxes, title, lender, or your taxes, title fees, and recording fees? She's like, oh, no, your commissions. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, what do you want to talk about? Well, what do you charge? Don't respond right away. Gave it a half a second. Then the husband goes, I'd imagine it's pretty typical, the 6% like everyone else. I'm like, yeah, pretty typical. Let me know what you know about the new NAR settlement. Again, honor their research, honor their understanding. This guy is a retired Army vet, owned a CPA firm, loves numbers. He said that multiple times. I love numbers. I know exactly what type of person I'm dealing with. I better show you every single dot, T, crossed, period, number, everything, because you're going to scrutinize everything. And part of that is I'm going to honor who he is by asking, well, what's important to you? What's that mean? Okay, great. Tell me more. Great. Oh yeah, we're right in alignment with that. Now I don't have to fight the objection. He already had the understanding there. Also, you get professional level services, you should expect to pay a professional level fee. But when you walk away from a conversation not knowing the pitfalls, the hurdles, the understanding gaps, you're blind. You have no idea what the clients need or don't need because you've had a surface level conversation. Dive deep, ask questions, get clarity, provide them a space where they feel comfortable saying, I'm worried about blank. I don't understand blank. Raise your hand if you know someone who's got an ego that won't admit when they don't know something. Right? You all know me. It's really difficult when somebody won't tell you they don't understand and they just want to act like they do. Well, give them space. Hey, I know this can be a very difficult process, and there's going to be a lot of times that there might not be absolute clarity. Whatever it is, let me know. I'm here to make sure you get the information you need to make a well-informed decision. Anyone ever heard that line before?
Mm-hmm.
Where have you heard it?
From you.
I've actually used that.
And I used the opposite side of things. I'm like, my job is to make sure you have all the information you need to make a good decision. And if you choose not to listen to me, then you're going to make a well-informed bad decision. Because my job is to make sure that you are taken care of and protected above all else. I'm a fiduciary, guys. This isn't about a transaction. This is about a relationship. I'm not trying to sell you one house. Can you finish the line?
Sell your house.
I'm going to try to sell them all. I'm your realtor for life. Pura Liba. Lida? Lida? Am I saying it right, Serena? Pura Lida? Vida. Pura vida?
Vida, por vida.
Pura vida, for life.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Was today worth your time? Did you learn something?
Definitely.
Yes, thank you. Can I ask a really, really quick question?
Sure. That's the second day in a row you've waited to the very end to speak.
Okay, my B. All right. My client lives down near Wilmot and the 10. Whenever the builders originally input her house into the MLS, they put the wrong zip code. They flip-flopped it. So she was asking me to set her up on like an alert for the area on what's happening, but she's worried that it's going to send her to the wrong zip code. Will that happen, or should I contact MLS to have them change it?
I mean, what are you setting her up in to get updates on the neighborhood? You're selecting the area.
I was putting her area code. So I was just putting her zip code because she wanted to see like what was going on in the zip code. And that's when the zip code in MLS is 85704 and it needs to be 857 40, I believe, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, 40 to 04 are big changes.
That's yes. So and 04
you set up your own search. You can create your own filter and it has nothing to do with her address. But you don't want to just stay on there. You want to be like, hey, I want 85740. and send
But
that.
because it's wrong in MLS, it won't have any effect on like
Why?
the statistics.
Why would it? Her house isn't being sold.
Okay, I guess okay, that makes sense. I don't when she asked it, I was like, okay, I guess.
Let me
All right.
change it, right? I have a red car. I want you to tell me about every other blue car in the neighborhood. What are you looking for?
The blue car.
Why aren't you looking for my car?
Because she doesn't okay, okay. All right. Thank you.
Very good. It's okay. Sometimes we overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
So here's the exact line from yesterday's end of the meeting. So anything I can do, any questions that are unmet, or if anything pops up in the meantime, shoot me a call, shoot me a text. I am absolutely at your disposal. I tell people this all the time. You're not bothering me. This is about making sure you guys have all the information you need to make a good decision. Like that's the exact things I said. And she's like, well, I appreciate it. I feel very comfortable with you and I appreciate that. Absolutely. After all, this is about you, not me. So I hope today has helped you understand that objections are a good thing. Go find them, uncover them. And then when we uncover them, then like Caitlin says, we didn't get to the root of them. Ask more questions to get more clarity. Other than the cost of your representation, what's keeping you from buying a house today? Other than the cost of interest, what is keeping you from buying a house today? Other than Jim's lack of a hat, what's keeping you from buying a house today? Right. There's always more depth to the objection. Don't shy away from them and don't feel like, oh, I had no objection to that call. That was a great call. Objections tell me that they're listening and they care. That's a good thing. All right. You know what's also a good thing? High fives.